In this video, we have two different questions from two different subreddits. The first one we are going to get into is from Confessions. This one is ex-school bullies. Do you ever think of the people you bullied? Let's get into it. Ex-school bullies. Do you ever think about the people you bullied? I often think about the people who were mean to me in school. How they used to treat me, and how their lives might be different. I often feel compelled to contact them and ask them why they did it. Sometimes I even check up on some of the people on Facebook and wonder what kind of person they became. If you were a bully in school, what is your opinion on this? I used to bully this kid in the first grade. I pinched him, shoved him, ripped up those stickers teachers gave as a reward, said mean things to him, and probably other things I don't remember. I think I did it because it somehow made me popular, and although I wasn't bullied myself, I was occasionally belittled. Basically, it was a power thing. I eventually befriended him. I don't know how it happened, but we went from bully/victim to good friends by the 5th grade. Then he moved, and I felt a deep regret that I was never able to apologize even though we ended up in good terms. He doesn't cross my mind now, but I did think about him for a good while after, and I still feel bad even though I was just some dumb but kid. I was told by a close friend that this girl would say some really nasty mean things about me, so being a stupid teenager I did the same with her because it had upset me. It turns out my close friend was lying. She got our whole friend group to dislike this girl, and when we were reported for it, the close friend of ours acted like she didn't even know who this girl was, kinda threw us under the bus. Anyway, that was years ago, and I think about reaching out to the girl I spoke about pretty often. I just want to message her and apologize for any harm I caused, and that I regret believing rumors, and that I should have been more mature as. I bullied people who bullied other people in my school. I was bullied when I was younger, and ended up becoming very tough because of it. As I got older, I got relatively pretty, and people started being very nice to me. I am incredibly good at being mean, and used this talent to bully other bullies, badly. I mean, I threw one kid's backpack across a lunchroom and told him he could go eat on the floor like a dog. I printed out screenshots from one kid's Finsta and posted them all over our school with his name in bold. I verbally assaulted people who I knew constantly bullied those who wouldn't defend themselves. And yes, I think about it and I feel bad. Not for defending others, but because I had the chance to be kinder in the way that I did that, and instead I decided to kick someone who was already feeling down about themselves. Bullies lash out for a reason, and those kids were likely struggling, and I only added to that. I wasn't an outright bully, but sometimes joined in the bullying when goaded by others. It took a long time to even understand that I bullied. I just thought it was funny without considering what the victim felt. This last summer, I went to a party and began talking with a guy I'd never met before and didn't catch his name. We drank and talked of old times at school, but I was always like, who is this guy? When he finally told me his name, I was shocked. He then mentioned how I used to bully him in school. That had me taken aback. I hadn't thought of it. But his perspective, even though he laughed about it now, especially now that he was a karate instructor, the fact he still clearly knew who bullied him and how we bullied him really hit home. I apologized for my behavior and hoped he wasn't too scarred by it. But I secretly thought if he's a karate instructor now, perhaps it was out of the long-held desire to defend himself against people like me. He seems to have a happy life now. I wish him well. I became friends with them later on. Not constant bullying like everyday stuff, but it was there. They don't have that much respect and still consider you beneath them. I haven't been in contact with the ones who were more regular. Nevertheless, I was told by a friend of mine that they were actually scared of me too. That I would strike them while sleeping or something. We were in a boarding school. I wasn't a consistent bully, but I was not nice to some people on several occasions. Instead of protecting them from others, I joined in the bullying. I do think about it and them very often actually, and feel ashamed of the person I was, and how I neglected to do what I strive to do now, to be a good person and a good influence. I have not reached out to anybody. I guess living with the shame is what I have to do. I hope the ones I have lost contact with are doing well in life. I was raised in an abusive household and had a learning disability. I was bullied, and from not having a single person look out for me or tell me what was going on was wrong, I learned to believe this is how people treat each other. I bullied. It keeps me up at night. I believe many bullies came from abusive homes. It is a learned behavior. Billy Madison contacted a guy he picked on and apologized. The guy later shot Billy's opponent in the butt for pulling a pew-pew on Billy and his friends. In high school, there were two girls who tried to literally unalive me. One later reached out and apologized, the other flat-out told me she didn't remember any of it. There was one incident when I was around 10 years old and I was pushing a swing into a girl who was using the other one. It eventually actually hit her and caused her mouth to bleed. I immediately snapped out of my crappy reverie and helped her get home, but I never got over that feeling. A few years back, I reached out to her on Facebook and apologized profusely. She was really nice about it and admitted that she didn't remember it, but appreciated my apology. Even so, I still feel terrible about what I did. Victims often spend a lot more time ruminating over abuse than perpetrators do. Odds are your bullies don't really care about anything they did to you back in the day. It's not important to them anymore. I doubt they spare a thought about us, tbh. I asked my bully about it once, many years later, and he decided he didn't remember doing anything wrong. Thought he was just joking around with everyone. Didn't seem to realize that with me, it was actual bullying and hurtful, and he was the reason I left school at 16. Save yourself the added trauma and don't bother contacting them. They don't care. I had one bully in high school. I ran into her once. She hasn't changed. Unfortunately, her kids have to put up with her. That was Confessions. Ex-school bullies, do you ever think of the people you bullied? If you were a bully in school, do you ever think of those you bullied? Tell us your stories in the comments. This next one is from askreddit and is called Girls, What Isn't Nearly as Attractive as Lot of Guys Think It Is. Let's get into it. Girls, what isn't nearly as attractive as lot of guys think it is? Being a sad boy, aka carrying on about how crappy you feel and how cuddles would really help. Before anyone comes for me, a man in touch with his emotions is attractive. A man refusing to look after his mental health and using his depression to manipulate women into giving him affection and leading it to sex is gross. You're in the clear if you openly talk about mental health and your struggles if you aren't using it as a flirtation method, otherwise it comes off as manipulation. Being super jacked. I think it's kind of gross, actually. I like some definition, especially in the arms and shoulders, but I love a soft belly on a guy. It's like a pillow for me, smiley face. Money is less important than having drive and ambition and a desire for a stable yet fulfilling life. Money is a byproduct of ambition and a facilitator of stability. A lot of guys don't seem to understand that's what women actually want. Trying to take over tasks I'm doing because they're the man and this is man business, as I watch him fail to reverse a trailer 17 times that I am quite capable of doing and do often myself. Weird one, but really guys, if your partner is telling you about how sad or depressed they are about something, it does not mean they want sex. Your doc is not a magical cure-all, dearest. Sometimes I just want you to listen to me and hug me without whipping it out like it's about to make all my cares fade away. Talking crap about their exes. I mean, of course they may talk about negative experiences within that relationship, but I mean like, belittling her as a person. Ex, she was so ugly, I can't believe I dated her, she had an annoying voice, etc. Dating profiles or profiles in general holding up guns/middle fingers, it's so common and all I see is anger and insecurity. Laying it on thick how much better you are as their new girlfriend versus their crazy ex. Yeah, if all your exes are crazy, I have questions about who pushed them over the edge. Being dominant. Guys think being dominant means being aggressive. Having loud-ass, extreme opinions on stuff. Always puffing out their chest. Drinking 10 beers a day. Not giving a hoot about how their actions make others feel. When they display empty alcohol bottles as if they're trophies to be proud of. Luckily, I've seen this less and less since leaving college. If you have to verbally tell me you're nice, smart, funny, a good person, I immediately am suspicious that you are not actually nice, smart, funny, a good person. I know plenty of people with those qualities, but they didn't have to tell me they had them, it was apparent from interacting with them. Acting like having a hobby makes you gay or less than a man. I'd rather have a nerdy guy with an extensive Lego collection than someone whose only non-work activity is scrolling TikTok. Bragging about your money. Even as an 18-year-old, I always found it off-putting. You have money? Great. You don't have to remind me every 5 minutes. Being a tough guy. Unresolved anger issues are not hot, they're scary. The selfies where they raise their eyebrows but squint their eyes, lol. Putting down other women. I feel like men do this to show how they're interested in you and not those other women, but it always comes off as just being a hater, judgmental, or even misogynistic based on what's said. Using the terms alpha or beta to refer to yourself or other men. Calling yourself a nice guy. Being arrogant or cocky. Boasting about how much sex you've had, how many girls you could get, how good you are in bed, etc. Unsolicited dick pics, asking for nudes, asking sexual questions when the nature of the conversation wasn't sexual. Poor hygiene, taking yourself too seriously, / not being able to laugh at yourself. Pretty much anything another man has told you that we like. Don't take advice on what women like / dislike from men. A more specific answer would be treating us badly. The whole treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen thing is bullshit. We don't like bad boys anywhere near as much as you think we do, and your definition of bad boy is not the same as ours anyway. Being a jerk will not make us want to chase you, it'll make us want to escape you. Edit, gotta love the way that me, a woman, saying men don't know more about women than we do has attracted men who are trying to tell me that they know more about women than we do. That is it for today's video. If you have any stories from being a bully or being bullied, or tell us what you think isn't as attractive as guys think it is, let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.